Okay, it's Wednesday, I think. I don't know what day it is anymore. I've got a watch at Walmart that just got the seasons on it, 'cause that's the closest I can tell. Um, I'm back in Paris. I drove to Liberty, Missouri today. I had some medical issues that I'm doing some scans and some um, labs and hema something. Long drive back. Water was smooth though, all the way across the Atlantic. Anyway, I've got some problems. Um, I don't have any problems, but what I don't have are people to help me do this. And so I'm hanging up all of you people that have filled out a form and that there's over 295 that I haven't had the time to get to. I am doing no more one-on-one. Um, I'm going to do your deal for you because what I found was two things. I have found that people are oh, Danny's going to do it. And they hand me all their stuff. And in their minds, it's gone. Danny will bring it back. And okay, but that's a lot slower because I don't know what happened. You know, so do I guess? Do I call them? And unbelievably, some of the people that are most terrified of their losing their house, um, you know, everything's more important than talking to me. If I've got a question, I got to chase them down. I used to have to chase people down for money, and and that would be half the money they were going to pay me, and I never got. But by the way, that when I make jokes about that, I know what they're up against. I was up against too. I lost $3 million in one spot for Fannie Mae, and there's a reason I couldn't win, and I ain't going to bother telling you because I don't want your brains to blow up. And there's been some decisions lately that that's not true. So this is good. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I'm the person still. Um, I still don't understand why there's not more people like me doing it. I understand. I found out from Tom there's some people. They're starting to copy me. But I didn't give it to him. Tom did. But really, the more people that know, maybe the more people we can get all together. And remember, I'd like to start an association where we're helping nationally, trade information. Um, find the people. There's 30 million, 20 million, 30 million people. What would it take us? Like 2 million of them? I can't do 2 million, but to get to get 200,000 or 5 million, and then it would spread. Um, so that's my idea. I want to do more. I want to help more people. I don't want people, that think I'm going to help and then they send me a form and I can't even look at the form because I'm so busy doing 3 deals or 4 deals. Um, I did, 15 in a row. I don't know that that's anybody's ever done it. Somebody will break the record if we can get the news out. Um, but that was pretty incredible. But it's actually this last one that I just can't get to finish. And it's not because it's difficult. I know what's going to happen every second. I know what they're going to do. I know what I'm going to do. And, but there's just a lot of things. There were a lot of characters. I think it's a play, and there's just a bunch of costumes and like what's new. Who's playing New Rez in this production? Who's playing uh, Shell Point? Oh wait, Shell Point is New Rez. And who's playing a U.S. Bank and who's playing and honestly they're trying to hide the foreclosing party and you guys aren't finding them really great. So what I have is that what I'm doing is I think I can do 50 to 100 or more people on Zoom, but I have to have some help because if we do it on Zoom and you guys want to ask a question and I'm telling everybody what to do and everybody's got a template that I sent them and they're trying to fill it in and I'm telling how I would fill it in. Like let's say we're looking at who might be the foreclosing party. This is like a Perry Mason or Boston Legal. We have to guess that. And we have to have some kind of affair going on in the firm. If it's Perry Mason, you couldn't do that. Um, but it isn't something that I don't think I can do. I think I can do it better. And I noticed it on YouTube videos more than my website. I think people were learning more from the website by reading than they're learning on videos. I think that because the internet, we're learning to we have to do everything fast. We have to, oh, I can't watch that very long. And I have ADHD, and you guys got your whole generation, if you're born, after 1988, um, you don't have any attention span. And so you compliment me and you ask questions, and they're the same questions, but they're not right. The questions aren't correct. So what I want to do is I'm going to take real pieces of some of these winners, and I mean they're real winners, and they help me take my theory of what we need to do and do it. And the results were exactly what I thought they would be. Why didn't I do it sooner? Because I'm not a genius. Why have I been able to do it now? Because I don't know. I'm just barely under genius, I think. I don't know how you measure it. Well, IQ. Um, I think mine's 5, so that's pretty high. Should be right in the middle if it goes to 10. Okay, but now I'm going to be serious. I can't figure out how to do this. I can't start it because I I want to be paid so that I can hire staff, people to help me, and it could help me with. See, I'm a real estate developer. I've been sitting here on a real estate project in Missouri for almost 3 years while I was doing this again. I'd quit. I had just quit. I just was out of gas. I was sad. I'd never been sad in my whole life. I think what I'd been was probably frustrated, disappointed, and I got over it. When the next cute girl walked by, and then found the girl I wanted. That's who helped me do this for 22 years. She was brave and courageous, smart. She helped a whole bunch. And it doesn't take a lot of help to help me. There are just some things I don't do as well as I do others. And the fact that it takes time. If somebody can take up the time doing the things that take me too long to do, I found that I did have that one girl over the summer, and I had her for 3 weeks, and I was doing 4 times more work. Because it doesn't take a lot to help me, but once I say, okay, here's what I need, and they just sit down and do it, and I can just not think about it until I look at it later, that's what makes me go faster. So I've got to have enough money to have a real staff and run this like a real business. I still think I'm going to be way under attorneys. And I think I've already said this, I don't know if I have, but I have an email I want to send out that says that I think we need to do this in like 2 hops. And let's say it's in a 1 month period, and we do anywhere from 2 to 4 sessions. Um, and I want to get $700 for that. And then what you'll be able to do, and I know I can do this, but I I we'll do it. But I'm going to need input. I need to have some input. So let's say I'm going to start this first week, and who's going to be in these classes? Okay, so I think we have to separate the non-judicial foreclosure people and the judicial foreclosure people. And honestly, every state will do both. But if you can do non-judicial foreclosure and you're a lender, that's what you're going to do because you can foreclose in secret and not tell anybody and commence the cheating and the stealing. Um, in judicial states, that's done like the framers saw it constitutionally, and because it's in a straight line. We and I'm one of them, in non-judicial foreclosures, we have to be the plaintiff and sue them. Um, but and the situation is almost impossible. It's almost impossible. I couldn't have both people in the same meetings because it's backwards in non-judicial. There are 26 non-judicial states, and whoever called and asked about, not called, but whoever commented, what's Wyoming? And it's a judicial foreclosure state. They allow foreclosure, but again, what bank would choose to do um, foreclosure, judicial foreclosure, when they can do it non-judicial, they can do it fast and cheat and stuff. Um, so anyway, what I'm going to do is I've already started doing it. What I've done is I've taken pieces of the best stuff from the last five, and that's the best stuff I've done. And I don't see how it's beaten. And if we discover, well, yes, if a judge um, cheats, what I'm finding is that I probably was too hard on the federal judges, although that's all of mine. All of mine were federal judges cheating me, and they were absolutely doing it on purpose, no doubt in my mind. Um, but I think that's really not fair because I'm watching judges right now take care of this Trump thing, and was bad. Okay, I ought to say this too. We need to get started now because foreclosures are up 41%. That means 1.5 times a year ago. And they were already up to the peaks of 2010, 2012. This is stupid. This is not possible. And I don't know if I said before, I'm going to say right now. In 1994, there were 49 foreclosures per year in Jackson County, Missouri, which is most of Kansas City and a big part of the eastern suburbs. 800,000 people, or a million, probably 800,000. And there were 49 for the year. And then the repeal of Glass-Steagall, which we've talked about, I've written about. And if you don't get it yet, don't read it because let's just get your deal going. Um, but in 2002, we'd gone from 49 per year to 1,200 per month non-judicial foreclosures, and though I call them calendar arms, and that's one of my articles, and I don't know anybody else calls them that, but that's what they are. And that was what happened in 2008. That's what The Big Short was all about, which you couldn't possibly have understood because the whole story is about the guys that were selling those products couldn't understand. They knew something was wrong, and some of them made $1 billion and felt terrible about it. And in real life, the real life guys. Um, okay, but this is now, it's starting again. And it started because nobody put back they deregulated all of Wall Street in 1999, deregulated, no one's fixed it, and so let the cheating begin. But it's not as complicated as I thought it was. It's not anywhere near. They can't win as long as we don't go that direction that they're dodging. It's like you know, um, well, I like Pacheco, the Chiefs, and I like him because he runs so hard and just banging into people. And they asked Mahomes what they thought about him, and he said, he goes, all I can tell you is I think Pacheco hates the ground, and he's trying to beat it anyway. But he dodges and then hits and dodges and hits. That's what they're doing to us. They're distracting you. Someone else commented about, oh, I've got a modification I talked to you about. Okay, your modification was dishonest. I don't care who it is. There isn't any note. I don't care who it is. Um, no one's ever complained of an injury. I don't care who it is. And the servicer isn't a real servicer. That's just, they change names. They leave, they come back. It's because they've lost over the years. Not like I think we can beat them. But anyway, we've got to get going. I need your help. And so I have things I want to send you and get this first class going. I can't do, I think there could be as many as, you know, 50 people or 100 people that might want to do it. And it could be more. I mean, the numbers are greater than that, but not everyone's going to do it. And I can't, I have done a lot of subsidizing um, borrowers over the years. And I did that because I was always making pretty good money till I ran and and I couldn't stand it that somebody's going to lose a house, and especially once I figured out what it felt like to do it myself. And then I was retired in 2015. I had, you know, $3 million worth of property, and I had paid cash for it, and my wife and I had worked hard to get that cash, and it hurt really bad, and so it's hard for me to say no, but I can't do them one on one and I can't do them without money. I need to work on, I'm a real estate developer. I'm on a real estate development. I started in 1980. My grandkids just happened to move back to here as I was moving back to here. That's just good luck. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to do this project, and I need to get to it. And I can either say, okay, I give up. I can't figure this out. I'm going to work on real estate, and then I'll come back to it. But that means that everybody right now, if they don't find somebody else, and I don't know who it is, then people are going to lose houses. So $700, and what that'll get you is we're going to have as many as 8 2 a week sessions. We're going to I'll be doing more than that. I'll be doing the two groups split. And I don't want to do very many at the beginning. I want to get some feedback to see if I'm going the right way before I'm trying to do 100 people. And will that really happen? I don't know. I would think so, because there's that many people that are wanting help and they don't seem to have it anywhere else. So I'd like to start with 20, and it's just going to be the first 20 that can do something to help me. And what I need is I've got to hire someone. They don't have to know this business because this is crime, and almost everybody studied something else. But like someone that had been around it, somebody that's in law, somebody that started law, uh, um, paralegals, or somebody that can help with YouTube. You know, I used it to teach classes. That's been 6 or 8 years ago. It's new. It's better. Even while we're doing the class, I'd like for people to be able to send that text message, but I'm not going to be able to look at that while I'm telling people what to do. I have ADHD. That's the truth. And it's not funny, even if it's kind of funny. Um, and so I want to start with just a few, and maybe just for a week, just long enough to get some feedback. But what I'm going to do is take the first, 20 people, and you know, they can get in for 200 and still, pay the rest of the money. But $700 will get the the lawsuit done. You will have done it yourself. I will try to do it in a way that if something should happen to me. Now, remember, that sounds kind of sad, and I'm not feeling bad, but I've gotten old doing this, and I worry about that. So I want you to be able to know what you put together, and to do that, I can only coach you, and then you'll even probably be sending it to us. I'd like to use Google Drive for that. If we could use shared folders, anybody knows how to do that, where you can just put what you filled in, and then put it in a shared folder with me. And then me, or I do have some people in mind, but they can't just quit their jobs and do this. And I can't have them come here unless I can pay them. And so that's when I might have to quit. I don't know what else to do. So anyway, uh, what in the first class, $700, you will have the ability to file your complaint, whether it's in a non-judicial state or a judicial state, and I will have you have tried to tell me what goes into what section. And when we get to the last third, that's mostly citations. That's not going to change, and you're going to get that just for free. You don't have to do the research. And so this might be able to be done where people could do within 2 or 3 weeks, and certainly within 4. You can put in your own complaint, and you'll be able to ask us if there's too many people for me to talk to you one at a time. That's just how it's going to be, because that's what's killing me now. People get me on the phone and they'll talk to me about the same things I've talked about a lot of times. I want to do that with 100 people at a time, and if we can, fine. But we probably have it where you'll get to, where you can, just before you do it, you'll talk to me and ask me your questions, but we're going to limit it. I don't know what it'll be to, but it'll have to be limited some, because uh, you know because people want to tell me what I've heard 1,000 times, and I don't want to interrupt somebody that's upset. And so So I'm going to have to show some, uh, I'm going to have some rules to do this correctly. And I think we can help a lot of people at one time. Now, you don't have to do the second part, which is going to be $500, but it can start immediately. There will be some of you that already can fire up and go try it yourselves. And some of you are going to want to. Maybe you can't afford it. And I don't know what we're going to do about people can't afford anything. But that, by the way, that is what we're doing. You have to subscribe and you have to get my notifications. And I don't send them. It's just if I do a video, you'll get a notification. Oh, Danny did a video. It doesn't cost any money, but there is a way to make money and maybe make everyone's cheaper. Um, and that is we have to get those monetization to that monetization level and then up to where it's worth anything. And I've watched some guys go, some attorneys that are, you know, trying to cover everything on Trump and some guys that, trying to cover Ukraine war. And I see them go from like, oh, we're going to get 100,000 subscribers. And then bam, they're at 2 million. And at 2 million, they're making money. Everybody's making money at 2 million. And it might be that, we can just like give some of the people from the beginning back some of the money they spent, and just keep in touch, or whatever. But let's go back to the people that might try it themselves and then they think they're getting their ass kicked and they want to come and do the second part because as soon as you file your motion, we're going to piss someone off and it's going to be the foreclosing party. And I want to go after whoever foreclosed and created a foreclosure deed called a trustee's deed in my state. It's called an eviction deed sometimes, but the deed from the sale, because all of those are forged because there's nothing to do it with. It's kind of like me telling you the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to I want you to visit, or the best way you can do it, your recorder's office and find the assignments of the mortgage, which is the security instrument. It is not part of the deal. The mortgage is no big deal. They're making a big deal. It is absolutely the incidental document. The essential document is the note. And now I've got people telling me, well, their state says that if you don't have the note, you can still foreclose, and that's all they're being told. And I don't know if they looked it up, but when I look it up, that's in almost every state, including mine. But what it says is that you don't have to have the promissory note if you can prove that your mortgage that you say you have is yours, and you can prove it up by um, proving every sale or endorsement, or you paid for it in the first place, that you put in money. You have to prove it. It's hard to do if you didn't do it correctly. From 1985, 1980, in my lifetime, to 2000, they always could do it. But there were only 49 foreclosures for the whole year. They were good. And everybody had the paperwork. No one's got this paperwork now. They don't have it, and we're going to kill them. We'll win. But you're going to have, because this is what they've used since I started working on it, 2010, they're going to have assignments of mortgage or assignments of deed of trust or trust deed. Sometimes it's called in California, and sometimes deed of trust because California is big and they just don't know what they're all saying to each other. Um, so anyway, the way to do this is I'm going to redo the detail form. I'm going to give you an email um, um, that you can try to fill in now and say, okay, I'm going to say $200, $200 to get in, and I'm going to send you a copy. I'm going to shut down my website, which I think is easier to learn from than the videos. And I think videos, like when I can do live on here, then I can say once a week, there's a certain time that we can do live, and I'll be able to see your questions scroll up, and I can stop it and say, okay, I better answer that one. That's why I need a moderator when we're doing the classes, because I want to know what's the most asking question, the most The most asked question, the most asked question. I want to know that first. Then I want to give that answer while they're not very professional. While we're doing the workshops, let's if we're struggling out there, give let's give us a question. I got to have somebody looking at those, making sure I get them, and I kind of need them parsed out. I don't know how to do that by myself, and so that's what I need. So I need some money to get some people. I need some money because I am not taking any other of those, and I can't get to my construction because I'm doing this stuff. And this is important. This is as important as stopping Trump. In fact, is our deal that we're into, the cheating, the lying, the Congress not talking about it. This was going on, which is what taught those guys how to take it even further. And ours is going on, and we are in a spike, and it's going to get higher because those tariffs are going to ruin a lot of businesses. They'll go bankrupt. When they go bankrupt, they'll also get foreclosed, but so will all of their employees. So if it's a restaurant, that's 20 people. If it's a manufacturing plant, it could be 2,000 people. And so it's going to get worse. We need to get them out of the way. We need to win. And by the way I'm doing it now is way faster than we did before because I don't care what most of your characters are doing. Somebody asked me about a forensic audit. All I can tell you about a forensic audit is that you can do it yourself. And what they're going to do is they're going to look at what the SEC, if they register this mortgage-backed security, which your note's supposed to be in, and what it says happened to your note. What it's going to say is it was supposed to have gone over here someplace and we can't find it. Okay. You don't want to be chasing that because they don't have the note. You can either believe me or you can go talk to some other guys. I don't know. They don't have it. I've never seen a note. I've seen a lot of copies. Most of them look like cartoons. And um, there's no such thing as the assignment of your mortgage. No such thing. So if you've got five of them, we just want to kill them all, but we're not going to spend a lot of time killing them because you can't do it. And I can explain to you that very quickly doing it that we're talking about now. So I'm going to give you an email, and I'm right now, I'm pretty much done with the last one. I've learned the most from it. It's gone on forever because I had so many characters and everything happened I thought it would. So we ended up in federal court. Turns out federal court is not very expensive and not very scary. I've been doing it a long time, but I remember it being more. Anyway, it's $405. But you don't have to pay for the services like you do with the sheriffs. But we don't want to go back into your state court. We want to drag your state court judges up to federal court, where they'll be scared and where we can work the Constitution. State judges are still, New Jersey's bad, but my state, I mean, these guys believe that state law supersedes federal law. Never, ever. Not once. It can't do it. It can't be. So we're going to invoke the supremacy clause. And every one of you, if we do this that way, but you'll have a chance to tell me you don't want it do it that way, or why you don't, or you'll want me to explain it. We'll explain it, but I really want to do it, quicker. Like I want to keep up with all the comments, and I haven't had time to do it. I'm trying now, and I'm going to try to answer every one of them. I think I should, but I need to have help. So, um, it'd be $200 toward the 700, and that will get you. I'm going to send to you. Here's the first things I want you to fill out, and I want you to have it. I want you to be working on it and have it when we start, and then I want the rest of the money or whatever you're going to figure out. And I don't know what it is, and I don't want to tell somebody I can't do it, but I can no longer afford it. I'm used to a lot of money, and they took mine too. So, um, but if we can raise money, then we can help more people. That all they did was they paid an attorney for longer than any of us. They've been fighting their deal harder, and they've run out, but they're just as good of people. I've not had very many good, people that didn't have good hearts and minds and were smart. I've not had. all this time, hundreds of people. I've not had very many, people that were trying to stroke the system or anything. Just never. I've just really never had it, and and I've not even had them try to talk to me. I've talked to good Americans for the most part the whole time. So I'd say tune in by 1 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll do a show or whatever. I might try to do live if I can figure it out. If I do live, that'd be good. But I'm going to. I want you to communicate. We got to have to use a different email because that all my emails are eat up. So I've got one now. It's called MTGFRD. Kind of goes with everything else, and then it's workshops plural at gmail.com. And that's going to be how we communicate, at least for now. And you're going to request that. But I'm also tomorrow, I'm going to look at the detail form and see if I want to change it because I've been using that for several years and I had to start using it because I couldn't get enough answers and I want people to know I look at all the answers I need and they can't do them all. I say, yeah, you can't do them all, but fill in what you can. That'll help me know what to tell you I still need. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go to your recorder's office. There is something recorded there that you don't know about. And I found that's every time. And it may be five things. And I don't even know why they do it, but you can't assign a mortgage. And when you sign, even the note is not the value. You buy a note because it represents, it's the title to your debt, your remaining debt. And that's the assignment of your debt can't be done by the mortgage. And it doesn't even refer to the loan. The mortgage is just your agreement on what the collateral will be if you become unable to pay. It was not meant to foreclose on, it was meant to be given back to you when you paid it off. But we've gone from 15-year mortgages to 30-year mortgages so they could loan more money and still you're not paying so much per month. Um, I don't want to explain that anymore either. Uh, if you see this, and if it's tomorrow, today is the 8th, and it's Wednesday. So at noon tomorrow, I'm going to have gone through the detail form, and anybody that wants to sign up now, I will send the first tools. And what I did is I've taken things that have to be filled in. The caption is the first thing. The caption is what says the Western District of Missouri District Court. And so it's what court you're in, which means are you in state court or like where are we going to sue from? And I think we have to do it. I'm finding more crooks in state court, and I'm starting to think that that I was just estimating all the years. I don't know. I I can tell you that I did have bad judges, and I'm going after some federal judges. But if you've got a state court judge and he's already said that, you've been foreclosed and they're trying to get you evicted, we can stop that guy in federal court easier than in state court because they'll just go, they just ignore you. That's what I'm finding from everyone's telling me. And that was always true. So it was true. It is true. It's going to be true. Noon tomorrow, I'm going to have a new detail form, but if I if I just have you fill it out again, it will be faster. If I have to go find them all and then read them all, then I'll get you out of whack. And some of you people, it's been a while. Maybe if you lose your house, we can get it back the same way, but it's really, really hard once you've been evicted. It's hard mentally. It isn't hard to do. It's no harder to do at all. It's the same process, but it's harder on you and it has taken away more capability, more money, your score, your FICO score, and whatever. So this is probably too long already. I hope I haven't repeated myself. I can do it, but I drove from Paris. I'm back to Paris now. Um, yes, today to get some medical things done. Which if I begin to die, I'm going to tell you people, and then we'll just try to get you as much knowledge as we can. But I don't feel bad right now, so I don't think I'm going to die. I need to be careful on steps anymore. All right. I have to do that thing because I don't have a producer where I just act like I don't know what I'm doing, and then I reach up there and you can't tell it, and I go, "Oh well, that's all for today, and we'll see you tomorrow." And I'll probably try to do it right at noon, and then we'll talk a little bit, and I might try to turn on live because I know where the button is. I thought you had to be already into monetization. By the way, here's where I am. I have nine. I have to get to 1,000. I have 920 subscriptions. You know, I just need, another 90 to be, then we start doing it. We start doing what we're trying to get to make enough money to make it even cheaper because I don't need your money to live on. But what I can't do is take it from my money for my business. I can make plenty there. And doing this has always been, it's not anything I like doing. It's sad, it's hard, it's brutal. Um, and I don't want to cost anybody a lot of money like an attorney. I just don't know. I don't know how they do that. Um, so I can share whatever we make, but I want to pay staff. Whatever I do here has got to be run like a business. So that's what I've got to do from now on. I have not done well with that, but I run my other businesses like businesses, and it seems to work a whole lot better. Um, all right, tomorrow noon, and I'll have something figured out. You will use that email. But the form will still have its own link that makes it come straight to me. So if you have it, you could just send that one. But I'm going to try to see if there's not something else I want you to put in there. I don't think the deal. I don't think we've got the things about assignments because they've become more important now because they've just gone out of their minds. They're using 5 or 6 or 7, and you can't even do one. So that that doesn't help them any. All right. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I haven't been back to you sooner. I've decided I can't do any more, so I've pretty much done the end of it, and I'm going to concentrate on this. And so I'm going to try to work on my things and still be very responsive here, and I can do that. All right. Thank you, Danny Hammond, signing off.